Alright guys, so we are going to officially go ahead and go over the Path of Exile 3.9 Challenge League. So for those of you guys on YouTube, we're going to be doing this live on Twitch, so sit back, relax, and don't take it too seriously. Here we go. Challenge Leagues are a great opportunity. I should get my fucking glasses. Challenge Leagues are a great opportunity for a fresh start in a new economy. SSF, by the way. All of your old characters and items are still present in the standard hardcore leagues, but you're encouraged to join the new leagues, complete challenges, and demonstrate your mastery of Path of Exile. In the Metamorph Challenge League, follow Exile Tane Octavius. Dude, Octavian's leading the Challenge League, dude. Is investigating the source of ill intent in the world. What he calls the I can't fucking say that. In darkness, helped by harvesting flesh samples from the monsters throughout Rayclast, combining them to summon powerful transforming bosses. Intrinsic. There we go. I shouldn't have just woke up. The more difficult encounter you create, the greater the rewards. A new type of currency, the Catalyst, is available only by creating and defeating these powerful new foes. Catalyst can be used to increase the quality of your rings, belts, and amulets in a specific way. So we saw that you can basically increase like resistances or life rolls or etc. Once you reach maps, you'll be able to acquire samples from map bosses. Oh, dude, killing map bosses has a reason. Nice. In different areas and combine them in Tane's lab for fights that are extra difficult but extra rewarding. I like how they put the emphasis on the extra rewarding, not only in like the parentheses, but also with an exclamation mark. The new Challenge League includes a set of 40 new challenges. When you complete 12 challenges, you will receive the Metamorph Footprint effect. 24 challenges, you'll get the Weapon effect. 36, you'll get the Portal. These microtransactions are only obtainable in this league. Major new content and features. Conqueror of the Atlas, a brand new endgame mapping experience. The Shaper and Elder have both been defeated. This is the number one reason I'm excited for this league is the change to, they call it endgame. I just call it no more Shaper and Elder ping pong, because I think it's all throughout the game at mapping, but I guess they consider 68 plus endgame. The Shaper and Elder have both been defeated, just not by you. Another group of exiles has saved... Excuse me? I'm telling you, this is Path of Exile Taiwan, dude, saving us from the Celestial Harbingers of Doom. But that wasn't enough. They continued to cut paths through the Atlas, leaving carnage in their wake and forcing Zana to seal them in the Atlas forever. But they're trying to find a way out. You know, this whole thing right here, this quote, was actually from the trailer. It sounds much more epic in the trailer when Zana says it. Can you stop them before they bring ruin to Oriath? Featuring 5 new endgame boss encounters, powerful rewards, including new currencies, and new ways to modify your Atlas. Added a new dexterity gem, Artillery Ballista. Summon a ballista totem that propels a sequence of fiery arrows into the air. The arrows impact the ground in a line, each dealing area damage to enemies around it. Added a new dex gem, Shrapnel Ballista. Summon a ballista totem that fires multiple arrows with extreme force, breaking them apart into shrapnel. Enemies can be hit by multiple arrows from the same attack. Add a new dexterity gem, Ensnaring Arrow. Fires an arrow that remains in the ground behind its final target, tethering that enemy to it. Ensnared enemies always count as moving and have less movement speed when trying to break the snare. The snare would break if they leave the area of effect. Added a new dexterity support gem, Greater Volley. Okay, we're not going to go through all the specifics, but we see Greater Volley. Arrow Nova Support. Supports bow attack skills that fire forward as projectiles. These skills will instead fire a payload of arrows into the air that land at the target location. The supported skills arrows then fire out in a circle from where... This sounds really cool. Arrow Nova. Added a new dexterity support gem, Barrage. Supports the projectile attack that use bow skills or wands. Supported skills fire projectiles sequentially. Supported skills fire 3 additional projectiles and have more attack time per projectile. Added new currencies. Crusader's Exalted Orb, Hunter's Exalted Orb, Redeemer's Exalted Orb, and Warlord's Exalted Orb. Each of these currencies will add an additional modifier to a rare item from its associated pool of influence modifiers. This sounds really cool, so let me talk about this for a minute. I really enjoy finding Exalted Orbs in SSF because they're so rare. I really hate exalting gear because there's a 90% chance it becomes nothing, so it doesn't feel as cool. I'm really happy that we're now going to be able to get guaranteed modifiers off of these exalted orbs that are unique to those guys. I'm really concerned about power creep in Trade League, but I don't actually play Trade League, so I'm okay with it. So that's just one thing to kind of take on, you know? Yeah, I saw like strike gems affect a new target or like an additional target. I saw one of them on this a few weeks ago or a week ago. Add a new currency, Orb of Awakening. This item can be used on any item with influence, such as Shaper Influence, Ring, and any item of the same type, a ring in this case, to transfer that influence to a new item. The original item will be destroyed as a result of this process, but some of the original item mods may be carried over to the destination of an item. This is really cool. An item can have up to 2 influence types attached to it if they are transferred this way. Huh. Added 16 new unique items, added 35 awakened support gems. Oh, they're not called Support Gem Plus anymore. You can have shaped Elder items now. Okay. Added 14 new divination cards. Well, here we go. Minor new content. So I wonder with the shape, this awakening orb, can you take like, can you have an Elder influence piece and add a Shaper influence piece to it and have it both? Or can you just, or are you just like transferring the mods and hoping you get both? You can. That's really interesting. This is pretty interesting. More new content feature. You can now add item filters to your account through the Path of Exile website when you log into your game client, no matter where you're logged. Okay, so this is just for people playing on like people's houses and stuff. Line Eyes Watch has been visually updated and uses our latest rendering technology. There's a new loading screen as you enter Line Eyes Watch. Too bad nobody watches it because racing. Added a vendor recipe for your spare catalysts. Huh. You can now refund multi-choice passives such as those on the Ascendant to reselect your choice without having to refund all the passives after them as well. Added 3D art for Torch Oak Step and Machinimits. Range attack totems are now called ballistas and have a cool new look. It's a ballista. A lot of range attack skills have received major visual improvements. I wasn't expecting this, including the basic wand. Dude, basic wand got changed again, and bow attacks. Burning Arrow, Barrage, and Puncture. Arrows that collide with terrain now have a chance of bouncing off. This doesn't do anything other than look really cool and help performance in situations where players were firing thousands of arrows. Other skills have also received visual improvements. Please say arc, please say arc, please say arc, please say arc, please say arc. Frostblink, Firestorm, Frostblink, Freezing Pulse, Heavy Strike, Magma Orb, Summon Skelly, all the Warcry skills, Lightning Tender's Flesh offering, Arc! We're probably playing Arc, so. And Sunder. Added Labyrinth enchants for new skills as well as for Burning Arrow and Explosive Arrow. The cosmetic filter will now also check the description of your cosmetics rather than just the name. Improve the Shadow's Double Dagger Dual Strike animation. That's really specific. Continue to incrementally improve the sound, art, and effects of the environment. He doesn't know about arc buffs. I don't know about arc buffs yet. I'm getting there. I haven't read anything yet. Oh, balance. I get so excited when I see it, dude. All this stuff is just fluff for you guys right now. This is where it's at for me. Atlas of Change. Oh, Atlas Changes. What is it? Atlas of Changes. Atlas of Worlds has been reworked. You now start at the center and will work your way outwards. Streamer lacks critical information. The Shaper and Elder storyline is gone and has been replaced by a story that takes place in the aftermath of the old story. Dude, this sounds really cool. Added 5 new difficult endgame bosses, each with their own special loot, including several new item types. Added a new mechanic, Watchstones. These can only be obtained by defeating one of the new Atlas bosses. They can be used to raise the tier of all maps in a particular region of the Atlas, causing all maps of those base types to drop at the new higher tier. This is really exciting, so you don't have to use fucking sextants anymore. Oh hey, sextants can no longer be applied to individual maps and no longer have a radius. They're now applied to Watchstones instead and affect every map in the Watchstones region. They are not restricted by map tier, and if 2 or more Watchstones contain the same section modifier, only one will apply. Also, they've been renamed. Zana can now sell Shaper Elder influenced maps once you have progressed your Atlas enough. These act like the old Atlas influence, creating new monsters, threats, and rewards. The Zana modifiers that change map tiers and reroll map base types has been disabled. The Zana modifiers that change map tiers or reroll map base types have been disabled. Yo, we're gonna have to use our brain in SSF again. This is gonna be some shit. Usually you would always like pay the 1 chaos and just like recycle it. It's okay, it won't be too bad. Unique maps can now drop with varied tiers. Ooh. Maps that previously had monster level overrides such as Hallowed Ground now instead rely on the variable tier. Blight mechanics added to the core game. Blight has been added to the core game. You'll have a 10% chance to encounter Cassia and her beautiful singing while exploring the Atlas. Honestly, the only thing I'm really excited for in this is I love the Anoints. Anoint is fun. I like it. Each Blight encounter will award at least one. Okay, that's nuts. That's so good. That's so good. Cassia will have some nonsense early on because we haven't updated her script yet. Sorry. Oh, we'll say some. Got it. Character balance. Fortify's damage reduction effect is now multiplicative with similar effects. So basically, if you stack a lot of shit, Fortify got nerfed. If you don't, not really much changed. Shock and chill calculations have been changed in general. We already read this before. It's much easier to shock and chill. We already know this. We've added ailment threshold to monsters in the great majority of cases. The ailment threshold matches the monster's maximum life and primarily differs for especially high life monsters such as Shaper. Okay, yeah. We read this before in the manifesto. Basically, it's going to be much more viable to shock and freeze, well, shock and chill bosses. The default shock magnitude, such as Skitterbots, is now 15. Skitterbots nerfed. Fortify changes a buff when you're shocked or use abysses. That's pretty cool then. Skill reworks. Yeah, Skitterbots needed a nerf. They're too strong. Now fires 2 additional arrows at all levels. Oh, at all levels. The arrows now degrade in flight, eventually vanishing. This limits the skill's base range. Modifies projectile speed will allow the arrows to travel further. Still deals a burst damage in a cone. Increases the reductions to arrow speed also apply to the skill's area of effect. So increased projectile speed will cause your cone to also reach further. Now gains added lightning as the gem levels. Now gains increased projectile speed per gem quality and AoE per 2% gem quality. Arrows no longer pierce. Explosive arrow. So this is probably a skill we're going to try some other time. But this I think is going to be fun. Now costs 8 mana in gem 1 from 18 up to 10 at 20 from 27. Arrows stick in the enemy or the wall and explode after duration. The duration no longer refreshes when a new arrow is... What? Oh, I'm an idiot. Whenever a new arrow is attached, previously they were handled like charges, which refresh the duration whenever a new one is gained. That makes sense. If an enemy has multiple arrows stuck in them, the first one to explode will consume all other attached arrows. On-hit effects such as chance and knockback are determined by the exploding arrow. However, each arrow calculates its own damage, including critical strike and damaging elements independently, and these are summed to create one hit. Each arrow checks its own critical strike chance and only has its critical multiplier applied to that arrow's portion of damage in that... Wait, if that arrow rolls a critical strike, but if the other arrows roll... Considered a crit for on crit effects? What in the fuck? Let me read this again. Okay. Each arrow calculates its own damage, including critical strike chance. Okay, so that's like if you throw a multi-trap, each one rolls its own crit. And these are summed to create one hit. So they all explode at the same time because when the first arrow blows up, the other ones do. Each arrow checks its own critical strike chance and only has its critical multiplier applied to that arrow's portion of the damage. Oh, that's smart. Okay, so say you have 5 crit multi and you have 5 arrows, and it explodes. If 2 of them crit, it adds your crit multi onto the explosion because it's all summed in 1 hit. That makes sense. I think that's a nerf though, because it doesn't add the flat damage, but I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I have to use it to be honest. So if that arrow rolls a critical strike, but if any of the other arrows roll a critical strike, this combined explosion will be considered a crit. For on-crit effects, the same is true for damage. For example, if the exploding arrow did not successfully roll a crit, that part of the explosion will have no ignite damage or critical strike multiplier. 2 or other arrows were also attached to a point and they successfully rolled crit. They will add their critical strike damage to the explosion. The explosion will cause an ignite. Okay. Anyway, I don't need to read this big brain stuff because I'm not really playing this right now. But explosion also deals added fire damage based on gem level. Now inherits the base critical strike chance from your weapon. Now gains +2 explosion radius up to a cap determined by gem level up to 19 at 20. What? That sounds nuts. Explosions deal 3% more damage with ignite. Okay. Skill balance. All ballista totems such as Siege Ballista range attack, which have been renamed to Ballista, now place the totem at melee range. Oh, so when you click it, it goes at melee? Interesting. I don't know if I like that or not. Okay, Arc. Potentially our league starter. The range at which Arc can chain to another enemy is now 35 units from 25. League starting with Arc Mines. I'm excited, dude. League starting with Arc Mines. It ain't 50, but we are so back. Yeah, so what? It was 50, then it got nerfed to 25, and then it got buffed to 35. It's still a nerf, yeah, but I mean, it's... So the thing is like, damage is fine. You just need the chain. Like, all that matters is the chain. Because damage in this day and age is still pretty easy to get. And to be fair, you're not using Arc for single target unless you really want to, because you can use... what is a fire one that didn't get nerfed? The one that like shits up your screen. The Pyroclasm Mine. I mean, it ain't 50, but it ain't 25. Blaster now deals 30% base damage at 1 from 40 up to 36 at 20 from 48. Now has 5 additional projectiles. Sources of additional projectiles now add additional explosions. Burning Arrow converts 100% physical to fire. Has a 50% chance to ignite at all gem levels. Deals 50% more damage with ignite. Now applies additional debuff when you ignite, dealing extra burn damage based on the magnitude of the ignite. Gets 1% fire damage overtime multiplier per 2% quality. Caustic Arrow. Oh, they're buffing Caustic Arrow? Caustic Arrow's another build I wanted to do, dude. Caustic Arrow now deals 8.8 base from 7. Goes up by like a little more, about 10%. A little more than 10%, which is really good. And the radius, dude, the radius doubled. So I need to play Caustic Arrow and I need to play Arc Mines. Manual S Strain plus Contagion. I never did that. I did Caustic Arrow, Quill Rain with Toxic Rain, and it was disgusting. It was everything died. But they nerfed my Quill Rain setup. Discharge no longer has a target limit, previously limited to 30. Elemental Hit, I'm not really playing Elemental Hit, I'm gonna be honest. Is it buffed or nerfed? It's buffed. It's nerfed. Wait, it's nerfed. Quill Rain got buffed. The art more accurately reflects the rate at which damage is dealt. Ice Shot. Okay, please don't nerf Ice Shot. Ice Shot was a build I wanted to play. No longer leaves chilled ground on impact. Ice shot, what happened? Now deals 130% of base from 120 up to 170. Ooh. Chilled enemy. Wait, now chills enemies as though dealing 100% more damage. That's okay. That's okay. That's mad. You're gonna chill everything. Now gains increased chill effect. Ice shot's pretty good. Icicle Mine. Okay, I was gonna do Icicle Mine, but I wanted something new. Icicle Mine was providing enormous area coverage and damage at very little cost, and was also causing performance problems. These changes are intended to bring Icicle Mine in line with other mines, as well as alleviate the performance. The projectiles now fade over time, similar to Freezing Pulse, but without the gradual damage drop-off. In other words, the mines have shorter range by default, but can be increased by increasing the skill's projectile speed. Now has 4 additional projectiles at all levels from 6. Oh god, that hurts a little bit, dude. That hurt, not a lot, but it hurts a little bit. Now gains projectile speed per gem quality. Lancing Steel. Honestly, I'm not gonna read Lancing Steel. Lightning Arrow deals 110 of base. Okay. Now shocks enemy. Ugh. That's mad. That's super mad. This is all like super mad. Okay, what happened to Lightning Spire Trap? Now strikes every 0.55 seconds instead of 0.3? F for Lightning Spire, dude. F for Lightning Spire. It's okay, it was so dumb. It was so dumb. It's not really a nerf. I mean... Oh, you're right, you're right. It's not that big of a nerf at higher level. It's just for early level. If you cast multiple lightning warps rapidly, you will travel between all of them as they trigger the warp. The timing each... Huh. I don't care about this. Never tried this. We're going to have to try it at some point. We already read this before. Fuck you, zombies. Good. Scourge Arrow nerf. I think. Well, actually, it has chaos damage added, so I don't even know. Read Punishment. I saw it's minus 20 to reduce physical damage taken. The duration of the buff granted by cursed enemies when they hit you now matches the base duration of the curse, which is 9 seconds. Up from 4. The buff granted by Smoke Mine now grants 10% increased movement speed at gem level 1 from 20 up to 20. That's fine. I'm totally cool with this. This is just for like racers. Split Arrow now gets physical attack. Soul Rend got buffed. Spectral Throw got buffed. Siege Ballista now grants +2 to your maximum number of totems summoned. I didn't even see skeletons. Did I pass skeletons? I don't think I saw skeletons yet. Skeletons dodged the nerf? Oh, man. Oh, Stormblast Mine actually got buffed for single target. They just nerfed it early game, but they buffed it later. Tornado Shot got nerfed. Good, they're doing this new fade thing. Toxic Rain got buffed! Look, they buffed the top end by 2.4 or 1.4. This is a buff. This is a buff. Volatile Dead now has a limit of 60 orbs. I thought I was going to go through this quickly, but there's so much to fucking read. Jesus Christ. Range attack totem now called Ballista. I'm not going to play this right now, so I don't want to look at it too much. Support gem balance. Ah, here we go. Okay. Feeding Frenzy. Feeding Frenzy, nerfed. Fortify, nerfed. Impale. I think Impale is just trying to stay even with the monster buffs. Inspiration. No, did they nerf Inspiration? They nerfed Inspiration, dude. Not like this. They nerfed the best skill in the game, dude. Supported skills now do 5% more damage per Inspiration charge. Up to 7% at 20 from 8. So we lose like... That's not that bad. A little bit, and then we lose... It's so minor. It's okay. It's okay. It's literally like the most broken support in the game. Yeah, it's 5% less with a tiny bit of reduced crit. It's okay. Lesser multiple projectile support. Good. Minion damage support. Oh, I like that. 7 from 8 is 5. No, you can have 5 charges, I believe, Razor. So 1% per charge. Supported skills have 20% chance from 25 to grant Onslaught for a 3. Yikes, dude. That's a yikes, dude. No more Onslaught meta racing. I mean, I guess you can still use it. It's just a lot more annoying now. Yeah, Mirage Archer is still fine. It's not like complete F. It's just I'm happy they nerfed the range on it. It was busted. Okay. I guess we'll go into